And good morning. You're tuning into the City of East Chicago show, live here on WJOB AM 1230 and 104.7 FM. I'm Verlie Suggs, the host of the show here on WJOB, and I am joined by, I believe, Steve Segura, the Director of Multimedia. I can't see the other people on the camera, so I'm not sure who's there, but I'm expecting the police chief for the City of East Chicago, Chief Hector Rosario, as well as the Director of Code Enforcement, Damian Ventura. So is everyone there?
Yes, we're all here.
Oh, there you are, Chief. Great. Great to have you on. Anyone else joining us that I'm not aware of?
No, that's it.
Okay, great. So we're going to be talking about, of course, things going on in the police department, but an important topic in East Chicago, of course, everywhere, is code enforcement. And Damian's going to give us an update on what's going on with that. Steve, do you want to start out with any upcoming events for the City of East Chicago?
Sure, absolutely. I'm just going to share my screen really quick, and we're going to show you the, there it goes. Let me go back here. We have a Halloween event coming up in October. And here it is, the EC Hollow Nightmare on McShane Street. That's Friday, October 30th. It will be a trunk or treat. The City of East Chicago has chosen, in lieu of regular trick or treating, we're asking all the citizens to participate this way. It'll be from 5 to 8 p.m. You must be a East Chicago resident. You must have an ID. Now, and we were asking everybody to line up over on Cary Gosh in their parking lot. And then we're going to direct traffic down McShane. But there'll be a bunch of people participating in the trunk or treat. There'll be plenty of treats for everyone, and it'll be a nice, safe, environment for everyone during this COVID. I know that the state has opened up, but we're still playing it safe. So we'd like everyone to just participate that way if possible. And that's about it for that. We do have our new newsletter that's coming up, and that is our September issue of EC Life, and it will be featuring our code enforcement department. So there's a lot of really cool things in this newsletter regarding code enforcement and new projects coming up. So make sure you check that out.
Well, Steve, just one thing I do want to hit on as far as events, and this is probably the first time in, I can't tell you how many years, that East Chicago was not able to host a Mexican parade.
Yeah.
What was it like for East Chicago residents this year?
You know what? They were blowing up our Facebook page for a little while and messaging us, hey, are we still having a parade? What's going on? What's going on? And then when Chicago just decided to do some impromptu thing, they were like, oh man, we're jealous, It was hard because you're right, it was a tradition in the city for so many, decades, and for it just to die this year because of COVID, it was just kind of sad, At least you saw a bunch of cars with their flags just riding around town. At least.
Right, I saw people out here, just riding with their flags, at least, showing some type of tribute.
Yeah, and I believe that Bolaño still had some little thing at the park, but it was very minimal in the city, that's for sure.
Great. Well, I hope that we can get back to normal soon and get off these Zoom shows, because of course there's a lot of echo because you're in such a large room, you and Damian. Let's go right to Chief Rosario. And Chief, you want to give us an update of what's going on in the East Chicago Police Department?
Yes, so we are currently hiring. It's a nonstop hiring process. We just tested this past Saturday for officers. We had a very good turnout. As soon as this process closes, we're going to open up another one. I still have some slots I need to fill. We're doing emergency hire, regular hiring. With that being said, the guys are going out there. We're focusing on a lot of the target hotspots, you can say, along with the code enforcement. We're targeting the landlords where we're getting a lot of these nuisance calls, repeat calls, where people don't live there, they're just hanging out, or maybe the tenants may live there and they're letting everyone else come over and they're causing problems for the residents in the neighborhood. So we are starting to target those areas as well.
So if there's anyone out there who's interested in being an East Chicago police officer, what are some of the requirements?
At least 21 years of age, can't be older than 35, high school diploma, GED, you don't need a college degree or anything like that, valid driver's license, and just be of good moral character, basically.
Now, if you have any military experience, is that helpful?
We don't hold it against you if you don't have it. We do, it will help you in the long run, but it's not something that is required.
Mm-hmm. Great. So if people are looking for a position, how do they apply?
So they could come down to the police station Monday through Friday, 8 to 4. They just come to the front window, tell them that they're there to pick up an application. There's no fee. There's no nothing of that sort. Just fill out the application and turn it back into us as soon as possible.
Great. Now, when a police officer is hired, are they required to purchase their own uniform right off the bat, or how does that work for them?
No, we purchase everything. We give you everything that you need. We'll send you, if you're coming in as a regular citizen that is not certified through the academy, we send you to the academy. We provide you all your uniforms, your academy uniforms, all your duty gear. We give you all that.
Great, great. So I know we have with us Damian Ventura today, and Damian works with code enforcement, I believe.
Yes.
Is that correct, Damian? Tell us a little bit about what code enforcement entails in the city of East Chicago.
Yeah, so code enforcement, what it entails is about 10 topics from the municipal code, and we focus on rank vegetation, overflowing of dumpster. We work with the businesses to ensure that they're keeping their sidewalks litter free, the alleys. So basically those are like the top ones. Abandoned vehicles we focus on. So those are like some of the top municipal codes that we focus on.
So do you get calls from concerned citizens or, you know, people just making complaints about nuisances, or do you basically drive around looking for things that are wrong?
Yeah, absolutely. We do both. So we get calls from residents all the time. I probably field about 25 calls every morning. But we're also in a proactive state, and we do drive-by inspections, and we go looking for, you know, violations. And of course, you know, we're trying to be aligned with the mayor's vision. We want to aggressively try to keep the city as clean as possible. So my guys are out there, and I couldn't do it without them. They're fantastic. I work with fantastic guys, and they're very aggressive and going out there. And just to give you an example, I just did the numbers for how many inspections we have completed. From April to September, we've rolled up over 2,400 violations. So we're out there aggressively working with businesses. A lot of the businesses are responding fantastically. They're painting, you know, they're doing a facade program. They're out there. So I love to see that. That's what we want. We want to change the makeup and the culture of the city of East Chicago as far as how we look at our city, because I think it has a psychological effect on the people, and it's very exciting.
Well, East Chicago is one of the most beautiful cities here in Lake County, and that's evident by the fact that people just don't allow trash to collect.
Right.
And you guys are doing a great job doing that. What is the average fine that a person gets if they like neglect their lawn or, you know, put trash that's not in a dumpster or something like that?
Okay, so the process right now, as far as if a resident doesn't cut their lawn, is first we send a violation letter, and we give them time. You know, right now the post office has been a little slow with getting out letters to the residents, so we understand that, and we've allowed a total of 10 days for the resident to get it cut. If the resident doesn't get it cut, then the next step in the process is to send a work order to our Public Works Department. And the Public Works Department actually goes and cuts the grass, which we don't want to get it to that last step because they charge, you know, pretty hefty price to do that. So we're trying to avoid that.
Right. So it would behoove a person to go ahead and pay someone to cut their grass rather than get billed from the city from having the Department of Public Works send someone out to do it.
Absolutely.
But the good thing about the city of East Chicago is they don't allow these lots to get overgrown. They actually are proactive in cutting them and then going after the individual offender.
Yes, exactly. So like I said, we did 2,400 write-ups. About 90% of those 2,400 have been grass, overgrowing of weeds. One of the things I like the residents to know that, because we can't do it without them. We need them to care just as much as we care, and we're focusing on the alleys. Some of these alleys look like jungles, so we've been focusing on putting pressure on the residents as well as working together with them to cut trees and rank vegetation in the alleyways and stuff like that. So it's been coming out nice.
Now, how do they notify you if there is a problem?
They can call the office 391-8294. My extension is 2267. That's the best way.
So you are working under what department for the city?
I work in the building department, so it's a division of the building department, and yes, it's the building department code enforcement together.
We also have an app. Let's not forget, we have a 311 app that you can download on your phone, Android or Apple, and you can report issues that way. You can take a photo, it'll route it to the proper department, whether it be code enforcement or public works or engineering, and you'll get notifications as to the progress of your report, and then you'll once the job has been completed, you'll also be notified if the issue has been addressed. So make sure you download our EC Works 311 app, and it'll help us do our job better, and we can track things that way too.
And you can remain anonymous on the app. You don't have to give your information on the app either.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now, do any of these violations end up in court?
Yes, absolutely. Some of the ones that do end up in court are overflowing of dumpsters. We do also cite contractors that are performing work without a permit or unlicensed contractors. So a lot of those will get cited and end up in court for the court.
So if you're driving down the street and you see somebody putting on a new roof, then you check on that.
Sure, absolutely. Absolutely. We want to make sure that contractors are licensed and they know what they're doing. That could be a liability, if they're not licensed and, professionals. So the city is very serious about making sure that people know what they're doing. And so that's something that's very important for us.
Great. Now, how does the code enforcement work hand in hand with the police department?
Well, one of the things that Chief Rosario mentioned, which is exciting, is that the public nuisance ordinance. This is an ordinance that has been in since, I think, 2012, but it was never really used. And what this ordinance its strength is, it puts pressure on the landlords. So, if, for example, there's a high crime, where a lot of high crime is coming from a certain address and it's reoccurring, then the public nuisance would kick in and allow us to cite the landlord up to $2,500 on the first time, $7,500 on the second time if he doesn't correct the problem there. And what that does is that'll put pressure on them to kind of, again, change the culture that the city of East Chicago is not just, they don't want to accept just anybody, in these rentals. We want quality people, of course, because we have quality people makes up a quality city.
Great. Now, Damian, how long have you been in this position?
I've been here since 2014. The mayor did switch me to a different assignment. I was also the demolition coordinator, where I oversaw about 450 demolitions occur, which was fantastic also. And then I was tagged in again about maybe 3 months ago.
Mm-hmm. So pretty much, how do those jobs correlate as far as working with demolition, derelict buildings that were torn down because of probably some code violations as well?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So our guys at code enforcement will go ahead and write up these dilapidated buildings on code violations. And then from there in the process, we have a board of safety, a hearing board, where we send the owners a notification letter that they would show up to appear to see, if they can fix it. If not, then the city will enter into a demolition order. And then from there, we'll bid out. We go through the process of bidding out and contractors, eventually demolishing the property.
Great. Well, let's go back to Chief Rosario. And Chief, let's talk a little bit more about safety in the city of East Chicago.
So the guys are out there, they're doing what they're supposed to do. You know, it's making it a little tougher now that with all the construction that's going on, especially down Columbus Drive. So we've been getting complaints about reckless drivers, so to say, speeding up and down Columbus Drive since Euclid Avenue was closed, Kennedy Avenue, so on and so forth. So our guys are out there doing special patrols for that. They are being very proactive. We got new guys that just graduated the academy. They're coming fresh off of field training, so they're eager to go. So crime is we're watching everything that's going on, and I will say that it's going down.
Well, Chief, I know we've had you here on the City of East Chicago show here on WJOB before, but for those people who are tuning in for the first time, getting to meet you for the first time, tell our listeners a little bit about your background.
So I was born in Hammond, went to Hammond schools, graduated from Hammond High. In 1998, given my age, in 98, I graduated from Hammond High. They East Chicago at that time started a cadet program here at the police department. At that time, I was living, I moved from Hammond to Chicago to help take care of my grandparents, my elderly grandparents at the time. So I got enrolled with the cadet program. I did that from 18 to about 21. When I turned 21, the city wasn't hiring. There was a freeze actually at the time. They were strapped for cash. So I went into the dispatch center. They were hiring for a dispatcher, so I did that till about 2002. At that time, that's right around the time 9/11 happened, and a lot of our guys at the time that were police officers left the department to be air marshals. So it kind of left a vacancy, and I was able to pass the test. So from 2002 on up, I became a police officer. I did patrol for at least 13 years. They had pulled me off the street. They tasked me with doing some IT work with one of the sergeants that was here doing IT, so I kind of shadowed him a little bit. Shortly thereafter, Chief Becker came in. He made me the intelligence officer. I was the first one to ever do that. That was a position that he made up. So I filled that role for a while. At the time they needed, we tested for sergeants and lieutenants. So I tested for the sergeancy. I was able to pass that, which means I had to go back to the streets. So I was a sergeant in the streets for a little bit. And then again, they pulled me off the streets, tasked me with more, with the IT stuff. So I did that a little bit more. And then that's when I got the tap on the shoulder from former Chief Smith to become up and fill the deputy chief role. And I did that for a little over 2 years, I want to say. And then that's when the mayor had me fill the role of chief of police, and here I am today.
Well, I'm glad you told what year you graduated, because most people looking at you would think you're still in your 20s. So at least they know, that you are a little older, and that you have had quite a bit of experience. Did you ever think when you were a cadet that one day you would be the police chief for the city of East Chicago?
Never.
And especially at this young age.
No, I mean, you think about it, but you're like, no, it's not going to happen. It won't happen, and it's still, sometimes I still catch myself like, wow, I'm still amazed by where I am today, It's like I grew up here. This is my home. Like I said, I've been here since I was 18. All these people are like family, there's no way I would be able to leave or do anything like that. This is my home. So no, I'm indebted here.
Well, I applaud Mayor Copeland for taking politics out of the police department and picking the most qualified. Tell us a little bit about the structure in the police department. You're the chief, and then what do you have below you?
Yes, so it's the chief, and then under me I have a deputy chief, Jose Rivera. I have two commanders. One is a patrol commander, who is Justin Orange, and then I have a commander in the gang and narcotics units, which is Eddie Bastardo. And from there, it branches off to your lieutenants, your sergeants, and then your patrolmen. I have obviously the lieutenants in the street. I have a couple lieutenants that work inside as far as property management, and I have another one that works inside for IDEX, which is she handles all the audits for the license plates and the driver's license, stolen vehicles, stolen handguns, so on and so forth. And then again, the sergeants that are in patrol, and the ones that I have in traffic as well.
Now, you the youngest police chief that the city of East Chicago has ever had?
We tried researching it. I believe so. I want to say yes. We went back we went back some years and tried looking, but I believe so, yes.
Wow, that's fantastic. Now, what's going on around the nation in regard to police, and East Chicago Police Department, always near and dear to my heart. Some of the best. How are your officers dealing with morale with some of the things going around in the country?
I think we've been very blessed. I say it a lot, but we've been very, very blessed that we don't have, the problems that you see on the news and stuff like that. Like the citizens of East Chicago still embrace us very much. Like I could leave out of here today, jump in my truck, go walk down the street, and I still get approached by people, that want to talk. We don't have the animosity that you see like on TV. And so we've been very, very blessed. The officers see what's going on elsewhere, and they see how good basically they have it here, how the citizens still embrace them, still want to talk to them, still show them lots of love. Like, for example, the other day, I went to Dunkin' Donuts to get my coffee in the morning to come to work. The car in front of me paid, stuck their hand out the window, gave me a nice wave and everything. So like I said, they still love us out here, and it's a blessing. It's a blessing.
That's great. You also have a Citizens Academy, I believe.
Yes, it's actually right now it's postponed because of the whole COVID thing. We can't get a lot of people into the building and whatnot. But yes, we do the Citizens Academy. If anyone is ever had an inkling of being interested in being the police, I suggest you join the Citizens Academy. You meet once a week. It's about 6 weeks long, maybe a little longer, I want to say. But we have guest speakers that come in and talk to you about the different aspects of the police department, whether it be the traffic bureau, the detective bureau, up here in administration. You go on a ride along. We simulate a crime scene, so it's a very, very good experience.
Great. Now, when we talk about citizens' involvement in policing, is there a citizens review board or any type of safety board that you all have to answer to if there are any, issues in the police department?
So we have a merit commission, and basically it's citizens. Some of them are appointed by the mayor. One of them is voted in by the police department, and I believe it's, let me see, probably 4 or 5 of them that sit on the board. And like I said, I can hand out discipline, but they're the overseer of it. So I have the ability to suspend or give discipline up to 5 days. Anything beyond 5 days has to go in front of the merit board. And at that point, they have a hearing, they get all the facts, and they say, yeah, the punishment is warranted, or no, that's a little excessive. Let's knock it down to this, and so on and so forth. So we do meet twice a month with the merit commission, and they're in charge of basically the hiring, the firing, and the discipline of the police department.
Great. Now, I know East Chicago is one of the few communities that still has their own city jail, I believe. Or so you still have your own city jail. You have a huge, in the past, I believe, and I hope it's still the case, that you have a huge solve rate on crimes in the city of East Chicago.
Yes. So the detectives, they're working their butt off. I got to hand it to them. They're working nonstop around the clock. They're down there, talking to these people, talking to the witnesses, and getting these cases solved. Some instances, it's an open and shut case, but then the victim doesn't want to prosecute. So at that point, we got to let them go. Our hands are tied at that point. But yes, they're down there kicking butt, and solving these cases.
That's fantastic. How many police officers does the city of East Chicago have right now?
Currently, I'm at 79. Hopefully next week, I'm bringing 4 more on board. I just gave them a conditional offer as of yesterday, actually. We're just awaiting a hiring date. And the 4 that are getting ready to come on are already certified police officers. They don't have to go to the academy. They'll just have to do a field training process, which will take a couple weeks. But after that, they'll be back on the road working the streets with us.
Are you finding that police officers are coming from other departments regularly, or is this an anomaly?
It happens every once in a while. With the incentives that the city does offer, I will say it makes us a little bit more attractive. The mayor is given the down payment assistance for the house if you live out here in the city. So guys are starting to take advantage of that. And also, we get the residency bonus for just living in the city. We get that twice a year from the mayor. We also if you ever test for promotions, you get residency bonus points just for living in the city that go towards your total for when you're testing for your sergeants and your lieutenants.
Great. Steve, let's talk a little bit more about those incentives for people to not only live in the city of East Chicago, but to actually buy a home there.
Yes, the Department of Redevelopment is, processing all those applications. All you have to do is attend a 1-day, 8-hour class, and I think there's a little bit of a waiting list right now, but it's still worth it. I mean, they will give you up to $20,000 if you are not a city employee, and $25,000 if you're not a city employee, $30,000 if you are employed with the city. If you buy a new home, if you buy a used home, they'll give you, I believe, $15,000, and then $5,000 additional if you are an employee. So the benefits are amazing. Take advantage of them. They have a roofing program. They have kind of like a facade for your homes also. Like if you live in the Sunnyside area, you can apply for that, and they'll do the whole exterior of your home. There's a grant for that. I believe up to $40,000. So the city of Chicago has been, their property value has been soaring, because the real estate houses are selling so fast here, and everyone's property value has increased. I know my house probably increased like $25,000 in just these last 2 years, So it's a good time to move back into the city. We're encouraging home ownership instead of rentals. I think we're kind of tired and had our fair share of rentals, and the mayor definitely wants homeowners back in the city of Chicago. There's some more projects coming down the pipe, hopefully, after all this COVID stuff is done. But I believe they may be planning on building some more new homes.
Now, with the demolitions that were taking place, of course, Damian, Ventura talked about that. Are those lots that are available now that people can actually purchase to build on, or people who have adjacent properties buying those lots? How are they using those lots?
Yeah, so if the city had a program called the Hardest Hit Program, which was a state and federal funded grant, and it allowed the city to purchase properties or properties that we already had actually, and we were able to demo them. And then what that did was it opened up what we thought about an exit strategy. The exit strategy was to have a side lot program for owners. So if we demoed a house that was next to an owner, they can buy the lot from the city, and then make their area, of course, their yard a lot bigger. So that was one of the things that the city had as a program.
Now, see, that's a great program, because a lot of people move to the suburbs because they want bigger lots. So, and we know in East Chicago, being an older community, the houses were closer together. Now, being able to expand your property is an added bonus.
Sure, absolutely. And then another thing, that if we had maybe 2 or 3 lots, there's also been situations like that the city owned, and that's where you would have, project to build a new home and offer it to residents. That's something else that the city also is looking into.
Great. So, Jimmy, is Jimmy Ventura your daddy?
Yes, he is.
Shout out to Jimmy if he's tuning in. His son sounds like he has really raised him well.
Thank you so much.
Yes, you really know what you're talking about. I appreciate that. I appreciate all of the young minds, not to say anything against your older mind, Steve, but all the young minds that Mayor Copeland has surrounded himself with, from the police chief to code enforcement to all the departments in the city of East Chicago. Everything is moving very smoothly in East Chicago. The city continues to strive due to the great leadership of Mayor Copeland.
Yes, absolutely.
Definitely. Any final words that you'd like to share before we end our program today?
Just make sure you tune into our Facebook page and our new website. There's a lot of information there, especially about programs and a lot of community There's also a lot of community events that are happening, food banks and stuff like that. So tune into our ECTV page, subscribe, and subscribe to our YouTube and Twitter and all that stuff, just to stay informed. We also have our Nixle, 888-777. Just text that number and type in EC events, and you'll be notified. All that information is on our website on how to join Nixle. We send out notices regularly. So thank you for hosting, and you guys have a great weekend.
Great. And you know what? Just one final reminder. I believe we'll be back on the air before Halloween, but just a reminder about Trunk or Treat.
Trunk or Treat will be on October 30th from 5 to 8 p.m. That's by Todd Park. Just have your East Chicago ID and your big bag ready to receive treats. That's all we can say.
Great. And Chief Rosario, thank you so much for coming on, for sharing all this wonderful information about the City of East Chicago Police Department and the fact that you're hiring. That's always a great thing to hear. Damian, thank you so much for sharing all the information about code enforcement. It's important that the residents of East Chicago know that if there's an issue in their community, that there's a place that they can go to get it resolved. So thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. This has been the City of East Chicago show, live on WJOB AM 1230 and 104.7 FM. Have a great day.